nice to see that right now. All right, we've got about 10 minutes to go. Cholesterol lowering diet. Oh my gosh. Let's not even go there. Don't worry, I'm not. The New Yorker magazine. Joni Mitchell. You know, there's an interesting thing about Joni Mitchell I read in a recent interview. For 10 years, she didn't record an album because she was so affected by negative reviews of her work. Can you imagine a thing like that? Somebody as brilliant and gifted as Joni Mitchell would be so concerned of what the other thought of her. And speaking of which, I'm reading or listening to a lecture on Jean-Paul Sartre and his book No Exit, and how 3 characters in hell were providing a reflection of each other, and that, you know, sometimes we see ourselves in someone else, and often if we aren't looking at others, we can't really see ourselves, because if we want to really see ourselves, we need to see ourselves not only from the perspective that others see us, but in how we affect the behavior of another, and then we can truly see who we are. But then people can purposely change up the reflection so that we get a distorted view of how others perceive us intentionally. And there's a lot of jealousy, and, you know, I want to be first, therefore I'm not going to correctly reflect back to you how you're appearing. I'm going to play with your head. Lord, help us. Little existential lesson there. So, God bless Joni. Joni's another one who used like some suspended type chords in her music, so it has that open, ambient, sort of expansive sound often in the chord structure, whether it's in the guitar or in the piano. And just as a side note regarding her, I was thinking, you know, there's no one really like her with her vocal ability to play guitar, piano, and to write songs, and to be such an integral member of our culture in a time of transition. She's just, I don't think there's anyone like that. You know, thinking of reflecting back here, I just opened up to a cartoon where this guy's standing over a grave. He's the only one at the burial, and he's reading a note that says, "There were those who hated his guts, but not me." I mean, there's just so much to be happy for in life, you know, to just embrace so much. And you'll be able to embrace more if you integrate it more. Stop looking for enemies. Who's not like you? Who's not doing it the right way? If anybody knows a good pastor, give me a call. Let me know. I'd like to see what a good pastor's doing. Because I just see so much self-important and self-appointedness and self-servingness in those who just don't act in that position the way it's intended. And I would love to see it being done right. Here's an interesting one about talking about incorporating different perspectives, and I often think of Ken Wilber in this sense because he's saying, like, you know, there's so few people on the planet, he's in his estimation, that really understand and live this integrated life. I think he calls them teal, puts them assigns a color to them. You know, I think I don't know what it is, it's like 0.5% of the world or something. You know, and it's a really frustrating thing because, you know, you want to communicate, but there's just a very limited community that can maybe appreciate where you're coming from and what you're able to hold and express. And here's a cartoon of two kids talking and some giant set of legs and shoes on top of somebody who appears to be flattened. And one kid says to the other, "I used to think he was my imaginary playmate till he stepped on Joey." All right. This music here is from a group called Copeland. I don't think they're still together, but I just think they're a really good group. Some really lovely melodies here. Come back to me, California. Oh my goodness, here's something I wrote a long, long time ago. Oh, and this guy. This is a good example. I was just talking about pastors. This guy, he's a pastor. Somebody from his church was watching my show. And they must have were concerned about something I was saying, and so he wanted a tape of, to find out what it was that, you know, disturbed his church member. And so basically what I did was I just decided to give him the copy of the tape that I viewed that week, went to go see him in his service, gave him the tape, and he never got back to me. And I think it's because he called me directly himself to, you know, in a way, trying to find out, you know, what am I all about, blah, blah, blah. But I think I scared him away because I'm saying something so different. You know, just like I couldn't read from that Richard Foster book at the beginning of the show because I'm beyond that. It's not that I don't recognize who Jesus is or recognize the holiness of God's Word, but that those are fundamental things. We've moved, not that Jesus doesn't matter anymore, that's not my point, but okay, we get it. We know who Jesus is. I mean, at least I have my belief of who Jesus is. I don't have to keep reminding myself who he is. It's sort of like, you know, your relationship with your wife. You don't say to each other, we're married to each other, right? Yeah, we're committed to each other, right? Yeah, we're going to be like together for the rest of our lives, right? Because we love each other, right? And because we got married that time, back 20 years ago, right? So you're gonna, I mean, just, okay, we get that. Let's move on. That's what I mean. But anyway, he's a perfect example of, I think, what the problem is with pastors is his view of what evil is so defined that I just fit it, you know. I don't fit his definition of what good is, so I am definitely evil, and he would, rather than try to talk to me and learn anything from me or be of any use to me or whatever, he's just writing me off. That's an area he can't go in. But I couldn't feel, you know, more loving, more open to having a discussion with him. So that's what I mean about, if you know of a pastor that's worth talking to, have them get in touch with me, or call me and let me go visit them. I want to see this.